It should come as no shock to anyone that the Western Conference is once again more competitive than the East this year. It's pretty much boilerplate at this point. Getting into the West playoffs is always a dicier proposition than it is for the Eastern Conference hopefuls, like trying to get into a super exclusive nightclub. The threshold to get in the past 2 years, just get in, has been 47 and 48 wins respectively. It's like needing 2 forms of ID and a cosign just to get in the club. However, this year is a bit different. Rather than being hard to get in because of exclusivity, this year's Western playoff race is highlighted by the sheer number of contestants. It's like that super exclusive nightclub has now become a popular dive bar with no velvet ropes and no line, just a mass of people trying to get in. You know that whole you stand on your tiptoes and look around thing. Which brings us to the New Orleans Pelicans. Exactly 1 month ago, the Pelicans had lost their 13th consecutive game. The news on top overall pick Zion Williamson was, despite being at the outer edge of the expected recovery time for meniscus surgery, there was still no timetable for his return. There were even questions by the pundits on whether head coach Alvin Gentry would finish the season. People asked if Zion would be shut down for the year, with the Pelicans be headed back to Secaucus for another lottery show appearance. Through it all, they didn't panic, they didn't throw in the towel, and they kept grinding. And the perseverance has paid off. Pelicans have won 10 of their last 14 games since that 13-game losing streak, outscoring opponents by 3.7 points per 100 possessions and pulling within 3.5 games of current 8-seed occupant Memphis. They've done it behind the sensational consistency of Brandon Ingram, who's made his strong case for All-Star bid, averaging 26 a game on a sizzling 60-plus percentage points in true shooting percentage. Meanwhile, his fellow former Laker Lonzo Ball has put together the strongest stretch of the season, averaging 14, 7, and 7 in this 14-game stretch. But the biggest piece of news of all this week, the imminent return of Zion Williamson, with Pelicans Executive VP of Basketball Ops David Griffin confirming that we expect to see him in uniform and on the court next week against San Antonio on ESPN. For the Pelicans, this is like fighting to get in the dive bar and then having your buddy who's best friends with the bouncer help you cut through the crowd, walk right in. Hopefully they remember to bring ID. So, Scottie, Pelicans are targeting Wednesday for Zion's debut. That game has now been moved to ESPN, as I said. Do you think the Pelicans are legit playoff contenders if he returns?
I would say right now they're playing hard for that spot. They are. I think Zion coming back is going to give this team more energy in the second half. The way Brandon Ingram is playing right now, I expect that to continue. So I do expect them to sneak in. I think they got a lot of pieces from the Lakers that are going to help them be a team that can contend. And with the merging of Brandon Ingram, they're playing good basketball, the best I've seen them play in a while.
I'm with Scottie completely. The momentum that Zion's presence will give them on the floor is gigantic. They've all been waiting for it, like fans, knowing how talented he is. But guys, you hit on it, Amin. Alvin Gentry deserves a ton of credit because so many people were writing this team off. They were writing him off. And everybody was sitting there going, the Pelicans aren't ready. They're going to fold this year, kick it for next year. Let's see what happens. Gentry kept them together, and to the credit to the guys in that locker room, the only way you continue to play and play as well as they have lately is if you respect the coach who's giving you the orders night to night. So everybody involved came together. You get Zion back. Absolutely, I believe they're going to find a way in the end.
So let me ask you this, Scottie, because they've had a lot of injuries. Consistency with the lineups has been an issue for them. One of the most consistent people, as I said, is Brandon Ingram. He's been tremendous. In your eyes, is he an all-star this year?
For sure. For sure. He's been playing all-star basketball. He's putting up the numbers.
Right.
49 points last night. And to be honest, Alvin Gentry has given him the green light, and he is the guy that really got the Pelicans playing. They're playing with a lot of confidence, and I think it's because of Brandon Ingram. The fact that he can score the basketball, and he's proven that he is a consistent scorer night in and night out. This is not the guy that was with the Lakers.
Right.
This guy is an all-star now.
So, Nick, let me ask you this. Zion in the preseason averaged 23 points on 71% field goal shooting. And we don't expect him to come out and do the same thing because it's regular season versus preseason, and also he's coming off an injury. But how well does he have to play, do you think, for the Pelicans to have a realistic chance at making the playoffs?
He's got to play pretty well, but we got to keep this in mind. He's going to be on limited minutes.
Right.
They're going to watch him very, very closely. I wouldn't expect more than 20 or 25 to start. As long as he's playing at a high level and drawing attention, it goes back to Ingram. Ingram right now is the star, guys, that the Lakers wanted him to be.
Right.
He's the guy that the Lakers thought he could turn into over time. He is that guy for the Pelicans right now. So as long as he leads the way, Zion can find his own rhythm. I don't think there's too much pressure on him to come in right away and start dominating like we saw at times in the preseason.
Yeah, and I think he's going to be a player that he's going to have to find his space in the game right now. He hasn't proven yet to really be a scorer in the game because he hasn't been on the court. So he's going to have to piggyback a lot off of what Brandon Ingram is doing. And I think for him, it's going to be important for him to get himself going, rebounding the ball, get on the offensive boards. That's where he can help this Pelican team.
Yeah, to me, it's his energy. You know, that was a big thing in the preseason. For a big guy, usually big guys, you run up and down a couple of times, they don't get you the ball, you start playing a little slower. Man. He runs so hard, he commands so much attention that it makes defenses react. And so he may not even get a touch or the numbers, but it makes the game easier for everyone else because of the attention he draws. By the way, this is a schedule we're looking at, their upcoming opponents. There's some very winnable games on that schedule right there. This is the time, I guess, they would make some ground if they're going to make a push, and him coming back couldn't come at a better time.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.